Hello, my name is Juanita Schaefer, and today I'm going to discuss Chapter 6, Human Homeostasis, Health and Disease from BSCS Biology, a Human Approach. The major concepts covered in Chapter 6 include disruption of homeostasis, the immune system, behavioral effects on immune function, risk and behavior, and vaccines. Chapter 6 starts with the engage, pushing the limits. Here, students read a very engaging scenario called a sweltering experience. This scenario provides the chance to review body systems and for students to apply the knowledge they've gained from previous chapters to explore the limits of homeostasis. In addition, students are introduced to characters that will be in the next activity, hospital triage. This activity is followed by a reading called Beyond the Limits. This reading discusses severe disruptions to homeostasis in both humans and non-human organisms. The Explore Explain hospital triage activity is a very fun and engaging activity that my students enjoy every year. This is a role-playing activity where students are physicians and are given the task of evaluating patients in a hospital emergency room. Every year in my classroom, I allow students to name their hospitals, and they all go by Dr. Smith or Dr. Jones, and they really get into this activity. This activity allows students to apply their knowledge of the human body systems, they analyze data, and they make decisions based on new information presented throughout the activity. The materials required for this activity include several copy masters from the Teacher Resource CD, and it is followed up with a reading called The Role of Medicine in Homeostasis. The next activity, self-defense, is a chance for students to learn about the immune system. It's broken into two parts. During Part A, students learn about the parts of the immune system and how they function. And in Part B, they're able to use that knowledge to solve a puzzle involving behavior, immune function, and pathogens. If you choose not to do the self-defense activity, there are a couple different options. The BSCS curriculum has an immunity simulation, but this does require the simulation disc, which may or may not be present in your student textbooks. An alternative that I've used successfully in the past is a simulation from the nobelprize.org website where students engage in a game to defeat a bacterial infection using different immune cells. This has proven very successful in the past and students enjoy it. The next activity is called What's the Risk? This activity is broken into three parts. During Part A, fluid exchange, students participate in an activity that simulates the spread of an infectious disease. And by the end, students should be able to describe how diseases can be spread through the exchange of bodily fluids, and they should also be able to explain how their behavior can have an effect on an individual's risk of infection. The materials that you're going to need are test tubes, vinegar, and bromothymol blue. I highly recommend using the teacher's guide to help you carry out this activity. Part B, risk assessment. This is a jigsaw activity where students are assigned to groups, and then within the group, each individual is assigned a risk category from the copymaster, risk assessment data. After each student becomes an expert in their specific category, they come back to their group and they share their analysis. At the end of this activity, students participate in a risk self-assessment. This process needs to be completely anonymous, and at the end, students will leave their risk self-assessment with you, the teacher, to gather the data and present it to the class. It is very important that you protect student confidentiality in this activity. Part C of What's the Risk is an ethical analysis. During this activity, students are encouraged to think about and discuss risks that have a societal impact, such as drunk driving or smoking. So by the end of these activities, the student learning outcomes are that students should be able to analyze information in case studies and simulations about stressors that may overwhelm the ability of organisms to maintain their internal environment and make decisions using information and evidence. In addition, students should be able to provide examples that show how individual and collective behavior may influence an individual's ability to maintain homeostasis. The final activity of Chapter 6 is the healthcare proposal. Students develop a proposal for one of several healthcare programs by collecting and evaluating information and developing a convincing argument for why their healthcare proposal should be funded over those of other students. Now, by the time you get to Chapter 6, you might be running behind, and this is an activity that could possibly be skipped if you are running short on time. If you have any questions about the content or activities, please feel free to contact me. My email is jschaeferratzlaff@bostonpublicschools.org. Thank you.